Hello everyone, it's Rhonda here from Nelson Soapery. We are just going to wait for a few people and then I'm going to of course be live, which we are now, but of course you can all watch this at a later date. So today what we're going to be doing is doing a really fun giveaway as well, and then of course I'm going to teach you guys how I make my bubble bars, and hopefully that can help all of you as well. So do make sure you tell me if you can hear me on here or not. But as I said, we're just going to wait for a few people. Oh, hi love, how are you? Hi Christine. Yeah, happy to see you too, love. Yeah, welcome. Hi Suzanne. Yeah, so I knew that everyone would start popping on at 11, but I always do my little intro because obviously when this goes live later on, everyone else can see it, and you know, they don't want to sit here and just watch absolutely nothing. So I always have to just kind of talk about a few things on here. But for anyone that's just joining on, obviously what we're doing today is we're going to be making some bubble bars, and I'll show you my recipe and how I do mine. It's really easy. It's not hard at all. And then of course we're going to we'll do the giveaway. So I was thinking of doing the giveaway first, but obviously we'll just wait for a few people to come on, because that's going to be one of the tricky ones, isn't it, waiting for everyone? But you know, I'm just going to wait a few minutes. But what I'm going to do at the start, you have to leave a bit early. Oh, that's fine. You can watch that back, love. No problem at all. Yeah, no problem, Christine. So what I'm going to do first, though, while we're waiting for a few people, is I'm actually going to just answer a couple questions that have actually come through this week. So I'm sorry if I'm looking down, but I am looking at my questions, and I don't have glasses on, so hopefully I can see, because I can't find my glasses. But so a lot of people are asking for my percentage of oils that I actually use in my recipe. And I'm happy to share that so that you can pop it in soap calc and maybe make a smaller batch. The only thing that I'll tell you is I change my percentage all the time, depending on weather as well. But this is, you know, this is the basic one that I'm going to give you, which will change the recipe when you put it in as well. It will change it slightly. But the coconut oil that I use in my soap recipe we're talking about is 20% coconut oil, which is your 76 degree. Then the cocoa butter is 16% I use. Shea butter is also 16%. Sweet almond oil is 10%. Olive oil is 36.5%. Castor oil is 1.5%. Sometimes I have my castor oil at 3, sometimes 4, sometimes 5. So it depends, but generally under 5. So, but for my new recipe, I'm putting it down to 1.5. Just because I kind of feel if you put your castor oil down a little bit, it actually does allow the bar to sort of cure a little bit better. And sometimes I get some little white sort of dots inside my soap, and I do know that when the castor oil is up, I seem to get it more, but you get a lot more of those dots when you use a heat transfer method as well. So, and also if you cut the bar early, that's how you'll get little dots, but I never worry about that. Oh, hi, Laurie. How are you, doll? Welcome. We've just started just talking about it. I'm just answering a couple questions first before we get along. And now somebody asked me as well as the glycerine rivers, you know, why do they get them? Look, glycerine rivers, all it is it's just the molecules. Oh, hi, Rare. How are you, darling? Welcome. So the glycerine rivers, all it is when you make soap, if you think of it, it's a chemical reaction. So the molecules are just kind of floating around. They're having a bit of a swim in the water. But if you lower your water, basically, if you try and reduce your water, or, you know, when you type things into soap calc, I've said this before, but it comes up at 38%, which is normal. But a lot of professional soapers use, you know, 25 to 28% instead of the 38, which lowers your water down as well. So, and then that doesn't give the molecules time to move. So that way there's not enough water to create glycerine rivers. That's all it means. It's just literally the water floating. So if you do a reduction in water as well, or if you, like I said, when you put it in soap calc, you know, so it'll look at 25 to 28. I do mine at 25 or 26% of based oils, which, like I said, the standard on soap calc just says 38. So just go in the top and you can change that to 25 or 26 or 28, whatever you like. But as I said, mine's 25 or 26. But the one that I've given you out this morning with the percentage rates, that's at 25. Let me just double check so that I'm right. Yeah, and 5% super fat. So that's what I'm using, just so that anyone knows. So that's the glycerine rivers. But you know what? It's normal. I just tell people this is how you can tell that this is natural soap. Natural soap isn't meant to look smooth and perfect like a commercial bar. It's just not. You know, that's just the way it is. And honestly, I've never had anyone complain about a little mark or a little dot or whatever, because I say this is natural and I'm making the soap as natural as I possibly can. So anyway, so that's basically why I do mine the way I do it as well. And today as well, so another question as well. So this one comes from Savannah. She actually was talking to me about doing a live and people can answer questions. So next Sunday, I am actually going to do Savannah's suggestion, and we're going to get into sort of like some business questions and some asks. And I'll actually also go through setting up, you know, a line document. So if you're going to do wholesale, or, you know, you want to sort of get your products out, you need to create what's called a line document. And all it is it will literally have like squares of pictures, and underneath that it would have the name, your SKU number, the information, maybe ingredients and so on of those particular products. And then you create that line document. So like I said, in next Sunday, that's what I'll talk about. We'll go into a few business things, if you want to sort of scale your business up to the next level, or even just get prepared for what can possibly happen. So yeah, so I definitely will do that as well. Sorry, I'm just reading this for a second, how I go. Oh, and also Savannah was asking, you know, how I got where I'm getting and so on. And honestly, that's all a part of the soaping conference that we're doing as well. All of the different people that are very successful business people, whether they're suppliers, manufacturers, soap makers, because we do have actual, you know, soap makers that have been in this industry close to 20 years that will be talking, and they'll be actually telling people how they got there and, you know, how they actually did it. They'll be giving away quite a few secrets, which is amazing. And that's why I always say, if you don't have your ticket, you really do need to come and support us in the Australian Soapery and Candle Conference, because that's what this is all about, getting our businesses out there. And when you start a business, you actually just don't know how to actually start. You know, when I first started, I thought, how am I actually going to get across the line? That's the hardest thing. But anyway, but for now, since we've got a few people on, we're going to draw. I will actually do the draw. So remember that the draw on here, what people are going to win is they're going to win 2 tickets to the virtual tickets for the Soaping and Candle Conference, which is held in March 2022. So you'll get so basically from here, once you win, I'll actually send you an invoice, which will be free. You don't pay anything. It will just say nothing on it. And then that is your ticket to get in. And then before the date on the 21st, you'll actually get an email and it will say, here is your code. This is how you link in. Oh, hi, Courtney. How you going, love? Welcome. So yeah, so that's how you're going to link in if you win. So we're going to have 2 prizes of 1 ticket each. So if that makes it clear. That way, because if I give 2 out, it's kind of not fair. We'll do 2 so that 2 people can win. And it doesn't matter what country in the world you're in, you can still win. Oh, hi, love, from Scotland. Oh, wow. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, no, it's very expensive in the UK. I do know that. It's super expensive to set up a business there, because I'm kind of in the process of looking at a few things. But at the moment, you know, when I get wholesale orders or things like that from other countries, I have to say no. So at the moment, we're only wholesaling in Australia, but I kind of will look at that later on. But you know, honestly, I think there's a lot of wholesalers in other countries that can help other countries as well. So I'll sort of more refer other people that I know on YouTube that are soap makers to other countries. Oh, hi, Rebecca from California. Hi, love. How are you? So we are going to be doing the draw today. So underneath me, I have a container full of things, so I won't look into it. So the first winner, and this is, remember what I said, this is going to be a virtual ticket. It's called Purple Yang Luxury. So if you are on here, that is for you. I do have some people on Instagram as well. So Purple Yang is the first winner. So if this is you, that is number one. And I'll kind of search in my little container and hopefully I can pick out another one. Let me undo this one. Christine Windus is the other one. And I'm pretty sure Christine may have actually already bought a ticket for the conference, so that means she'll be getting a physical gift sent out to her. So, and because Christine already does have her ticket, we will actually let somebody else win a virtual ticket as well. So I'm pretty sure Christine does have her ticket, but you are a winner, Christine. So, yeah, you do have your physical ticket. I'm looking forward to meeting you, lovely. But I will send you out a present. So make sure you just message me privately, Christine, and give me your details and I'll send you out a gift. You never won anything. Yeah, me either. I'm hopeless. Actually, I lie because when I was about 14, I entered a Dolly magazine competition and it was to win a prize. And I actually won a prize for my dad. It was Mother's Day, but because my dad was my mum and dad in one, I actually won him, I think it was like $2,000 watch, and I couldn't believe it, and I was really young. So my dad still got the watch to this day. It was really expensive. So he was super excited, but that's the only thing I've ever won, really. So, okay, so like I said, we do, Christine is the first one, and Purple Yang Luxury is the second one, and I will actually pop this onto Instagram as well so these winners know. And the last winner here is K.R. Brady. So if that is you, please make sure you give us a thumbs up and let me know that that is you. But I will pop these ones as well on Instagram so that we know who are those winners. And as we reach different milestones, I'm going to give away some prizes as well. But anyway, I'm sure lots of you are here to make our bubble bars. So what I'm going to do is I'll just move some things to the side and I'm going to do that. But before we actually do the bubble bars, a lot of people have been asking me about candles that are going wrong at the moment. So I've done a little sheet here and I'm just going to quickly read this one up. Oh, thank you, Courtney. That's nice of you to congratulate them. That's lovely. So with the thing is too that I was just saying is, you know, with 464, I've been told a few times that the recipe is slightly changed. So if anyone's having issues with 464, yeah, oh, that's fine, Courtney, yeah. So we're going to just go through what I actually use when I make candles. This will be just a fast one for anyone. So for 464, I heat it to 185 Fahrenheit, or in Australia, we would say 85 degrees because we're Celsius here. So that's what you'd heat it to. Then put your fragrance in at 180 Fahrenheit or 82 degrees. And then you would be pouring this. And remember, this is for 464. And you'd be pouring at 135 Fahrenheit or 57 degrees Australian. And I use 8 to 9% fragrance load in it. So do remember, if, for instance, you have 100 grams of oil, that doesn't mean 10% is 10. It means you need to take that 10% away because your total should be the full amount, which would be 100. So if you're going to do 10%, it would be 90% oil, 10% fragrance, if that makes sense. That's just a rough, you know, mathematical thing. So anyway, that's just for candles because I've had a lot of people asking. And also, before we get into our bubble bars, which I've already organised everything here, and I will give you the recipe, the one thing I'm going to tell people is I get so many questions about my bath bombs because I do make thousands of them. And, you know, the one thing that I'm going to say is bath bombs are not easy. That's why when people say to me, can I buy a bath bomb for $1? I'm like, no, because they're so hard to make. You know, they take a lot of effort to make. So this is the one thing that I always try and explain to people, that, you know, bath bombs are really hard. So don't hate yourself if they're not working. My recipe does work. It is a really good one. I have quite a few of you on here that use it and really love it. So make sure if you're using my recipe, to make sure it's not raining is number one. Don't use too much witch hazel, because that makes your bath bombs powdery and it will make them fail. You only need to keep to the 3 to 6 sprays of witch hazel only, no more, because otherwise it will be powdery. So I hope that kind of helps you guys a little bit with making it. So anyway, we're going to get on to making the bubble bars. So in my little bowl here, I already have mixed up the mixture, because obviously the powders, I would need to wear a mask and it's kind of a bit hard on camera. So I've already done that with my mask off camera. So we're going to talk about the ingredients first. So in the mixture that I've got here, we have 350 grams of bicarbonate soda. Make sure you're sifting everything, but do not sift the SLSA, because as we know, that is extremely airborne and you do need to wear a mask. So then there's 225 grams of cream of tartar. The more cream of tartar you add means the harder the bar will come. But remember, it's a bubble bar, so they do need to crumble it as well. Then you're going to add 80 grams of cornstarch, and then 20 grams of tapioca starch. If you don't have that starch, you can just put cornstarch in place of that. But the tapioca, it actually does make it a bit nicer, to be honest with you. It does. It makes it more smooth. Then 10 grams of kaolin clay and 165 grams of SLSA. SLSA makes this a really expensive recipe. It probably costs about, for me, I'm going to say about $20 to make this this recipe that we're going to make, because it is an expensive recipe to make for sure. And then, of course, we're going to be adding in our wet ingredients. So the wet ingredients are 200 grams of glycerine, then 50 grams of castor oil, and then we're going to add 19 to 20 grams of fragrance oil. If you're using essential oil, of course, you need to only add 1%. So add everything up and then go to your 1%. And then, of course, we're going to be adding in 1 teaspoon of jojoba oil, or you can add whichever oil you want. I always use jojoba oil. That's why it's in my recipe as well. And then you can add a dye or a mica. Today, I'm going to use a mica. Just remember, if you're adding micas, it is not going to colour the water. If your customers want the water coloured, you need to do that as well. Oh, you caught the live. Thanks, love. So for anyone that didn't hear me talk about the winners, Christine Windus was one of the winners on here, and she's going to get a gift because she already has a physical ticket to our conference. And if anyone else wants to go over, the links will be down below in many of my videos to purchase a ticket. Whether you're virtual in any other country, you can still purchase a ticket and log in. These and you'll also get the recording to keep, which is like about an 8-hour recording of the day. But the thing is you will need to click a box just before the conference to say that you understand you will not be sharing this live because people have bought a ticket. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and Purple Yang Luxury is another one. And so they get a virtual ticket, and Kay Brady is the other one for the other ticket as well. So hopefully those people know who they are or they're on here. If not, they'll be on Instagram, and then we'll go from there. If anyone hasn't followed me on Instagram, make sure you follow me over there as well, and you can see what I'm up to and put all my different things. Oh, hi Paula, how are you, doll, from Perth? I think Perth's a different time frame to us in Melbourne. I can't remember, but I think you are. Anyway, I'm going to put the camera down, and of course I won't be able to see your comments. So if you just wait to the end of me doing this, then I'll be able to answer you, like if you have any questions, because the camera's kind of got to go down so you guys can see. I'm just putting gloves on because, you know, number one, you should anyway, just to protect yourself or whoever you're making something with. Now, so I'm going to tell you as we're going along a few things that we're going to be making. Oh, you've missed so much. Oh, so don't worry. This will be put on recording later, Simone. But I'm going to show you how to make the bubble bars, and I've given out the recipe virtually on here. I've been speaking about it, but I will actually later once we finish and it goes up to YouTube. It takes about an hour, and then I will actually pop everything else on. Oh, you so love what I do, Simone. Thank you. Yeah, so I will actually put the recipe for you guys for the bubble bars after. Look, honestly, I've done that many bubble bars, and you know. Oh, thank you. So I've done so many bubble bars. The one thing I'm going to tell you, they're not all passes, you know. I mean, they're not. So, and when you do bubble bars, make sure you charge at least $8 for one, because they're really expensive to make. So I charge about $8 to $10. Oh, the kids recognize my voice. Oh, God. Do you know, I have a great Auntie Ethel, and my dad always told me she had the most annoying voice, and everyone has always said I have her voice. So she had a very husky voice, and I definitely have that real husky voice. And people often think I've got a cold, but I don't. And when I used to work for Early Settler as a manager, there used to be a lady come in and she'd say to me, oh, my goodness, you know, you should be a singer with that husky voice. But anyway, no, I can't sing. So, but, you know, I always used to think that was quite funny, actually, that she'd say that. But anyway, let's get going. So I'm going to pop the camera down, and I hope you can all hear me still. But anyway, so we've got our ingredients in here, which is, like I said, I'll quickly tell you again what this one is. Thank you. So in here we have our bicarb soda, cream of tartar, cornstarch, tapioca starch, kaolin clay, SLSA. If you want, you can add milk powder as well, because milk powder will give you, you know, a bit more bubbles. And the only reason I'm not going to be adding milk powder is to keep this vegan. So that's why I'm doing this as well. So if your clients are vegan, then that's really important to keep to that as well. So we've got that. And then, look, this is really easy. I'm going to tell you, if you have a stand mixer, I usually chuck that all in. Then I mix all of the wet ingredients, put that in top and mix it. That's it, done. But for today, I'm going to do it by hand because some people don't have a stand mixer. So like I said, we've got that. And then aside in here, which I've already weighed all these up, but I'll tell you what it is. We've got 200 grams of glycerine. It's just vegetable glycerine in here. And so we've got that to start with. And then in here we have some castor oil as well. Castor oil is going to give you some more bubbles, so that's why we're popping that in. And there is 50 grams of castor oil, so I'll just tip that in here. And as I said earlier, I'm just kind of telling you guys what I'm doing as I'm going along. But let me go and get a spatula because I forgot. And I thought to myself, look, I'm going to be so organised for everybody and be able to do this. But, you know, I'm just hopeless sometimes. I'm too busy, you know. I just haven't had time. I can actually see the comments, so it's fine. You can comment if you need to ask a question or anything. So all we're going to do is literally put all the wet ingredients straight into here. It's really easy, honestly. And then, and I also do have my teaspoon of jojoba oil already in here. I'd already popped that in because I'd popped that in with the castor oil. And then, of course, I have my fragrance here. So my fragrance here, I'm using a watermelon and mango. And both of these are from Pure Candle Supplies, but you can use whatever you want. Just try and use one that doesn't discolor because it will leave little tiny black or brown dots onto the bubble bars if it will discolor. And then just give it a mix because glycerin is like really thick and gluey. Oh, hi from America. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Welcome to my little Aussie baby channel. I mean, and I have to thank all of you. So many people have been so beautiful since we've reached we've reached the 2,000 plus subscribers, and I think in the last 3 days it's gone up an extra 50 or something close to that. So 2,050 or something. I can't believe it. But anyway, if you can see how it kind of looks like gooey, Don't worry about that. Don't worry. We just want to mix it all in. And that's just the glycerin mixing. And you can see it's getting thick like super glue now. And then all we're going to do is I just make like a little hole. And the good thing about this too is once you've got all your powders, because I've already pre-done these, you tip this in. The SLSA isn't going to fly because this is going to hold it all. Oh, that's okay, love. Yeah, welcome. And so that's all we're going to do is just really carefully mix it in. This does have SLSA at the bottom, so I've got to be really gentle how I'm going to pop it in. And so I hope you guys like my Sunday chat of, you know, just kind of adding in a recipe here and there. I won't always make recipes, but sometimes it kind of gives you a bit more time to ask me a question, because a lot of people sort of say to me, you know, like they've made something and something's gone wrong, and then they think it's that they've made a big mistake, and they haven't. Oh, it's exciting, Courtney. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, I actually have people say they actually look forward to Sundays when I make something, which is kind of cute, isn't it? We can all do this by afar as well. I thought I'd better have a drink off camera because I've been talking all morning. And I'm actually, I've got to ring my dad after we talk because my brother said, oh, Dad wants you to ring him. I said, okay, because he's at my brother's at the moment, my dad. So yeah, so anyway, we're going to mix all this. Oh, hi there from the UK. Hi, sweet, how are you? My mum's family actually came from Cornwall in the UK, but my dad's came from Chicago. So, you know, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? They're from everywhere. So now I've mixed all of this in, and the thing that you'll notice sometimes, you always need to keep extra glycerin on hand, because in my mixture here, can you see how this looks kind of like crumbly? That just means there's not enough glycerin. That's all that means. And sometimes some fragrances can do this as well. But if I was mixing this in a stand mixer, honestly, it'd be much, much easier. But like I said, I'm doing this just to show people that don't have a stand mixer. But don't add your glycerin until you really need this, because it's basically like a cake, you know, we want to just knead it. So once I've done this, usually what I do is tip some out, and I'm going to do it in 3 colors. So I'm just going to separate it. So just take a little bit out of that one and a little bit out. When I do this, if I'm to do a big batch of this, honestly, I would do probably 10 times this amount, because you want to have a really good amount in it as well. But don't feel like, don't sort of think, oh, I'm just going to throw heaps and heaps of glycerin in. Don't do that, because, you know, you want to see if you can kind of see how this is here. It is joining together, but it just needs that tiny little bit of glycerin. And I do notice, and this is going to sound really, really silly, but I do notice that when I actually add watermelon in particular, watermelon just seems to take away a tiny bit. So you can see I've added, like, honestly, just a couple drops, that's it. So watermelon just seems to make it not as sticky. And it does need to be a tiny bit sticky, but not a lot. So that's the one thing with the bubble bars that I always say. And look, I've done so many bubble bar recipes. I started with Soap Queen's one, which is really good. It is really good, but in Australia, because it's hotter, it didn't work as well, so I had to alter it. So this is, like I said, this recipe was started with Soap Queen's, and then I've just changed it a tiny bit as well. And I did notice with the Soap Queen one, it was really sticky. So, I mean, look, it might have been me. I might have done something wrong. I mean, but it's a really good recipe. So now if you've got your, micas, I'm just, like I said, today I'm just going to add micas. You can add as little or as much as you want. We'll just add a couple different ones. So I thought today I'll show you how I actually make my rainbow ones, because lots of people ask me about that, and I'm out of rainbow ones. I think Christine ordered some and I was out of rainbow ones, so I gave her a lavender one instead. And the lavender one is a different recipe. It's more of a luxury type recipe. And as I said, once again, if you were doing this in a stand mixer, honestly, so much easier. Take you 5 seconds. Yeah, it is kind of like a bath bomb, but a bubble bar just has more bubbles, and it has glycerin. So you do need to make sure you tell people, because glycerin's one of those things that some people actually are allergic to. I mean, I'm not allergic to anything. I'm very lucky, really, but some people are. So that, I mean, of course you tell anyone any any ingredient that's in it, but it's just one of those things. So like I said, make sure you just keep mixing it really, really well. And then once I've done this bit, I will actually show you how I'm doing next. So if you can kind of see, just adding that tiny bit more glycerin, see how it's really nice now? And it's like Play-Doh. So it should feel like Play-Doh that's, Play-Doh is really squishy, but it's not dry. So you definitely can't have it dry or it will fall apart. So there you go. We have number 1. So that one is all done. We'll put this tray aside. And, look, you can take it out on your bench. Just pick up all the bits of crumbs that might have fallen off and just knead it. Sorry, I just didn't see the last couple comments. I seen them. They come up, honestly, sometimes like 5 seconds, and they go away. So whoever said that, just say it again so I can read it if it was a question, and I'll answer it again, because I just didn't see it. So you can see that I've just kneaded this nice and easy on here. Bubble bars, and this one here, my recipe is a bit more luxury because it has some jojoba oils and stuff in. So it's not like just a standard one, I guess. So now we have our second one. We've already established we want to add a tiny bit more. Oh, yeah, a luxury bar. Yeah, well, it is a bit. Like a bubble bar is definitely more expensive. 100% it's more expensive because SLSA, it's got a lot in it, and SLSA is expensive. So this one I'm giving you, this recipe, I think I worked it out with my products. It's about $20 to make this one. So it is expensive. And that's what I say, you need to charge $8, because you're not going to get that many bars out of this. Like, honestly, you're not. So I charge $8 a bar. I think it's about $8 I charge. And that's standard. I mean, you can make a smaller bar. Some of my bars, I used to make a smaller. And of course, you can add brighter colors. I mean, I'm just doing this so that you guys can sort of see what I'm doing at the moment. And, all it is you just want to find that right consistency. So if it looks like it's kind of, it's not sticking together well and it's crumbly, then you know that you need to add more glycerin. So, yes, always keep a little bit extra glycerin aside. And if it was like a rainy day, which it's not at the moment, but if it was, I probably wouldn't need this extra glycerin. It's kind of like a bath bomb and can be a little tricky to make. And so once again, I'll show you, I will knead it on the bench, but this is kind of what it's going to look like. And I'm going to put the tiniest bit more glycerin in. And this is the glycerin I use in case anyone wants to know. I can't remember where I got it from. Oh, Aussie Soap Supplies. But you can get it from, anywhere in the world where you are. Your supplier will have it. I mean, and you can actually even get a lot of vegetable glycerins you can get off the shelf in your supermarket. Maybe not so much in Australia because honestly, our supermarkets have nothing compared to America. I mean, you'll be amazed how many things we cannot get in Australia, everybody. You really will be. And so I just knead it. I mean, if any of you have made bread, I used to make bread all the time for my kids because they used to like homemade bread. It just reminds me of similar. I just kind of knead it. If you don't knead it, you won't get a good enough bar. Honestly, you won't. Because I don't know whether any of you have seen some of Lush's videos. Some of them are amazing. I love watching them. And what they actually do on there is they have machines that are doing this. I mean, I'm just doing this by hand, but their machines do it. So So if you can see this as well, and so you can see it looks like Play-Doh. You'll see lots of these. No, I don't put the humidifier on with this. I don't really bother. You can, look, you can, but it's a little bit different to a bath bomb because it has the glycerine. So the glycerine's already attracting stuff in the air because it's glycerine. So it is, you know, honestly, it's a tiny bit different. It really is a little bit different to a bath bomb. So because it already does have that kind of sticky, yeah, it's a little different. Oh, the dehumidifier I use, honestly, now everyone's going to laugh. I use the cheapest one I could get my hands on. The dehumidifier I use is from Amazon. I think it was $79. I think I did put a link in one of my videos for it. I'll see if I can go and find it again for you. The one I use, I think it's called Highshore, which is Hysure. And it was like $79 from YouTube. Sorry, not YouTube, Amazon. And like I said, it was really cheap. Honestly, it was. It was so cheap. So, because, you know, I was being a bit of a cheapskate and I didn't want to pay. So, because as I say all the time, my husband and I are not rich. We're just normal people. You know, we have a really small 3-bedroom cheap house out in the suburbs. So, we're not wealthy people at all. Oh, you got the same humidifier? Yeah, I think it's quite good. For the price, I thought it was actually really good. I mean, look, you can get an amazing one for $300, $400, $500. Of course you can, from big department stores. But I didn't have that kind of money to spend. And in my studio here, because as a lot of you know, I used to have a warehouse. But because of continuously being locked out, I decided to get rid of that because the rent was just too dear as well. It was $3,000 a month. And then come back home, my husband organised this studio here for me. But I need a new air conditioner, so we've had to spend almost $1,000 for a new one for that too. Oh, that's all right, Suzanne, no problem, you're welcome. Yeah, so you know, I mean, it's so hard, isn't it? You just got to kind of figure out where your money's got to go. And as I say to all of you, I honestly don't have, you know, like, people always think with myself, you know, that I have heaps of money or all that kind of thing. But honestly, I don't. So, you know, just remember, we're all just normal people just trying to give it a go. And I don't get sales every single day either. So don't think I do. I don't. So now we're just going to use some baking paper. You can use wax-proof paper. This is just, you know, your standard kind of $3 one. And then all we're going to do is put our first bit down. And then we're just literally going to roll it. I mean, it's really easy. I mean, honestly. So the only thing that I would say is when you're doing this, like, you don't want the edges to be kind of funny like they are sort of here, if you can see. So I always try and push it back and then keep rolling. And you don't even need a rolling pin. You can do it by hand as well. So try and make it more into a rectangle. I'll see if my little... I'm just going to put the camera down a bit more so you can see better. Yeah, so basically I just try and push it into a bit of a rectangle shape. And as I said, this is only a small one just so I could show everybody. But usually I would do massive amounts bigger than this. And then we're going to put our next colour on. And exactly the same, what I do is I just literally put it on, roll it so that it's a similar size to the purple. And I mean, that's it. You know, it's not hard. I mean, because, and you don't need to put anything in the middle to stick it because they're going to stick themselves because they have the glycerine, so the glycerine will hold them. And you can like get a ruler or something like that as well if you want, or just push the end of the rolling pin because you want this to be pretty straight. So if you can kind of see that, how mine's more like a rectangle. And then we'll put the last one, which is the green. And this is just a little baby one as well. Like I said, this isn't a big one. But then what I'm going to do is once I've done this, then I'll roll it as much as I can roll it out. but you want this to be maybe, I'd say a few centimeters or an inch thick, because once you roll it, you want it to be like that kind of size, don't you? Otherwise, when I first started, I used to do it thin, and then, but what it actually did is it made my bars really small, and I was like, oh, that's disappointing. So, you know, you want them to kind of be a little bit thicker. And I mean, look, it looks really cute. So then we'll just roll it over this way a bit more. And like I said, you want this to be a rectangle. That's the main important thing. You need it to be a rectangle. So we will roll this out. And I'm sorry if I've missed anyone's comments. If anyone has said something and I forgot, I'm sorry. So now, once we've done this, this is the next bit. So you need another piece of paper on top, or like I said, greaseproof paper. And then all we're going to do, I'm going to take my gloves off because they're disgusting. I've got glycerine going everywhere. So now you've got your paper here, and now all we're going to do is literally roll this up. So I just turn that way, and you've got the bottom. And so if you can see, this is literally all we're going to do is roll it, and then move your paper back a little bit each time. And this is it. Sometimes when I see people making bubble bars, I see the bubble bars being really moist and wet, but don't do that, because if you make them too wet, they won't dry. Oh, you happy you found my live, Tanya? Thank you, love. Yeah, you know what? My dad was saying this to me the other day. He said, because we're not wealthy people, maybe that's why I kind of thought of doing this to help people that maybe can't afford a class, you know, or maybe just want to make this for their kids at home. And I don't care if you use my recipes to make money in your own business. I honestly do it. I'm happy for you to do it. It doesn't worry me. It really honestly doesn't. I don't get upset by it or anything like that. So yeah, and you will see it sticking a little bit. That's why you do need the greaseproof paper, but don't feel worried about that at all. And if it cracks and it has little cracks, don't worry, because, you know, I mean, go to Lush, you'll see that's a part of a bubble bar. It's what it is. And so if you can see it, this is what it's going to turn out to be like. And we will just, and you know, when you see cracks, just kind of go around them, because it's glycerin, and the glycerin will make it fine. And so then this is it. So if you can see, my ends are straight. So I keep pushing this in and keep doing this the whole way. And then you're going to just tighten it. So if you feel like there's too many cracks or it's not round, then this is what you can do. And I'll give you another trick as well. Let me grab something. I'm going to show you something. If you want to put a pattern on them, you can get something like this, which is like a silicone lace thing, and you can literally just put this over the top and keep squeezing. Hi Trish, how are you, darling? And then if you can see, it will give you a pattern. I mean, I don't really want this pattern on it, but you can use anything that you have. I actually do have a really cute, like a honeycomb one. So even if you wanted something like this, and you can just press that into it and it will give you a honeycomb look. So this is kind of what you can, you know, you can do all of these things, just like press it and keep going, like I said, and then it will give you that look if you want to give like a textured look, which is more unique to your business. And once again, I just keep doing this. And I put a lot more cream of tartar than a lot of other people that make these. And the reason for that is I want to make sure that mine get hard, because a lot of them get too sticky and they don't go hard at all. So anyway, let me find a knife and I'll show you, and we'll cut this one up. And honestly, it's gooey, so you don't need a big knife. I mean, it's just a butter knife. It's nothing exciting. I mean, do you know what? You could actually mix it all up with the flour and get your kids to mold it. I mean, your kids can roll it. You know, if you want to do something at home. I mean, I'm a mum of 7, so my kids always made things all the time. They always made little experiments and My husband's an engineer, so, you know, my son would always be doing engineering things with my husband. And then all we're going to do is cut it. And then basically that's all it is. I mean, that's the end of it, which isn't too pretty. But, you know, that's kind of the middle. But if it was more rainbow-like, it would look more groovy. But this one isn't. So, yeah, so don't feel like you have to be a certain way. And then if you're going to sell them, just make sure that, you know, you cut it neater than what I've done here. And that's it. I mean, look how cute that is. But if you were to do them wholesale, you'd actually want small ones like this. They'd sell easier. You know, if you had a store, this is definitely what you'd be trying to sell in somebody's store. And then what I actually do, because I have my own little soap label, I actually push the label into this. So I'll grab my soap thing and show you. So for me, mine's just a Nelson symbol. And I actually got this from the Crafty Burrito off Etsy. If anyone wants one, it was like $22. It was really cheap. And then you can literally just push your logo into the top, and my logo's into the top. So, yeah, so it's really easy. So if you want to do ones that look more professional, and then if you don't want that circle shape, you can literally, now that you've cut it, now you could just get, you know, a ruler or something and just make it a square or round or whatever you like, and then let it sit for 2 days and it should go dry. So it's really easy, isn't it? I mean, it's not hard. It's not rocket science. But sometimes I think, you know, the recipes get people a bit stumped. So, and, you know, you don't have to have the jojoba oil as well. You can put whatever oil you want. And if you don't want so much SLSA, just you can just put milk powder. You can exchange it for milk powder. So, like one of my daughters gets a lot of eczema. So for her, I would actually put goat's milk powder in her one, and that would be a really good one as well. And glycerine is actually quite soothing on the skin. But like I said, some people are allergic, so you do need to really be careful with that. And then, you know, if you're selling them, just make sure, once again, that, you know, you know, make sure that you weigh them, because we want to see what these weigh. And I'll tell you how much, we'll work out how much we're going to get out of this. So let me just turn my scale on and I'll weigh it for you. So each one's like 110 grams for this particular one. Some of them on my site are like, you know, 3 times that. It just depends. But like I said, just make sure you keep weighing on your scale. This one's much smaller because that's a tiny one. We'll just tear out the scale a bit. So that one's 92. So that's what I mean. You do need to measure them on your scale as well. And that's only because I haven't done it. If I was to do this one professionally, I would actually put a ruler here and then do an inch or, you know, whatever I was going to be doing. But like I said, we're just doing it on camera just to kind of give everyone a bit of an idea. And then just mold it around the edge to make sure it's nice and neat. But look, they do look really cute, don't they? And like I said, then I just get my stamp, push it in the middle, and that's it, and your name's in there. But, you know, if it was for wholesale, you obviously wouldn't be putting your name on that, because the company would probably want to put their own name on that. But, yeah, they're really easy to make. They're not hard. It's just they're expensive to make. So, once again, these ones are done. So, how many are we going to get? So, that one's the end. So, that one's a bit small. But, so we've got 3, 4, we'll say. So we've got 4 big sort of ones and 3 small ones out of this. This will be another big one, so that'll be 5. And that's what I'm saying too. Make sure you charge accordingly. And then I would actually just put these on a tray, and they're just going to sit on the tray for a little while. You can also use this recipe for a bubble scoop. You know, the little scoops that you put in your, what do you call it? You know, like the little scoopy machine. I don't know what they call them. An ice cream scoop. You could use that as well, because this recipe is not a normal bubble recipe. It has got a few changes that I've made to it as well. So yeah, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 pieces out of this one recipe that we've made. So if you want to do this, like I said, for your kids at home or something like that, that's a really good idea. I'm going to see if I can find my bubble scoop and we'll make one. Oh, I can't find it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Now I can... Oh, no. Are you still there, everyone? Hopefully I didn't. Oh, yeah, I almost thought I logged you off. Oh, no. I thought, oh, no. I moved the camera and it almost logged everyone off. But anyway, I'm back again, so that's handy, isn't it? Sorry, I didn't see the last comment. Someone asked me something and I just didn't see it. So, all good, Trish. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so anyway, hopefully that has helped all of you to make some bubble scoops. Or some bubble, bubble bars if you want to. You can, like I said, if it feels like it's cracking, then you can just add some more glycerine. I actually don't like to add heaps of glycerine because they won't dry. So that's why, and if you see them, if you go to Lush, they will actually have like these little, if you can see the little lines on them, that's normal to have that. So don't worry, that's not cracking. Cracking would be if it cracked all the way through the middle and it's not holding together. Oh, the scale information. Oh, what scale I use. So the scale I use is called a Kenner, and which is from Amazon as well. Can I see the stamp again? Yeah, so this is my stamp that I've got, and then it just has like, so it's wood on the outside, and then it just has like, I don't know what this is, a resin or a plastic. And I actually got this from a lady on Etsy, and she's called the Crafty Burrito in America. She's in America. And she was really, really good. She sent it out super fast. Oh, thanks, Deb. Yeah, they look beautiful, don't they? Once they dry, my 13-year-old will be all over them like a smell. So I may have a couple for the site, but most of them she'll probably try and keep. So don't wrap these up, don't shrink wrap these up until about 2 days, and you'll actually see they'll go harder. So you'll probably see online a lot of people have cream of tartar and they have a lot less cream of tartar, but you need to put a bit more just so they go hard. Otherwise, honestly, they're soft as anything, and they won't be hard like a bath bomb, but you know, you do want them to be a little bit hard so they don't fall apart in shipping, because that's the main thing. Depending how you ship things as well. I mean, I pack mine quite well in shipping, but even that, I mean, that costs money to ship. So for me, if somebody spends $59 or more, I give them free shipping. But that costs money too. So you need to make sure that you have a little bit of wiggle room in your product so that you can make money as well, because like I said, bubble wrap, the box you're putting it, that all costs money. So, tissue paper, I've just ordered some from No Issue a few weeks ago. And that was hundreds of dollars just to have my brand on it. So it's kind of it's all a part of it, isn't it? So I think we've all just got to make sure that, you add that little wiggle room for your product. So, but as I said, I hope this has really helped everyone, and if you have any questions, don't feel shy. You can definitely ask me any questions that you might have on it. And I will, like I said, once this is loaded, I will actually put the recipe in there as well. Yeah, that's right. If you don't have cornstarch, you can use tapioca starch, yeah. Or you can use you can use all cornstarch. Thanks, Suzanne. Thank you. I know, I keep getting told I'm amazing. My head might start to get big soon. Honestly, with this recipe, it's pretty easy. I mean, like I said, if you just make sure, the main thing I'm going to tell you is everything needs to be sifted. 100% you need to sift it. Oh, no worries, Paula. If you don't sift your recipe, it will get clumpy and it won't work really well. So that is key, but don't sift the SLSA because it's already very light. And by sifting it, then that means it's going to move more. So I extremely gently put the SLSA underneath other powders. And I did that today because obviously I wanted to be able to talk, and it's a bit hard with a mask. So that's why I did that previously before coming on, so that I could just show you how I actually make the bubble bars. Oh, what mask do I use? I use one from Bunnings. I'll get it. So Bunnings is our Australian, just like a handy store. And then this is the one that I use. And this was the one that was suggested to me. It's called Pro Protector. And it's got a classification on the bottom, which is meant to be for dust and things like that. And it was really cheap. It was like 2 for $12. So it's really good. It's easy to use. And then this just goes at your nose like that. And yeah, and then this goes behind your head, obviously. So yeah, it's a really good mask. And even with the gloves, I just use, you can just use a cheaper brand glove. Doesn't matter. Mine are just a rubber glove as well. So, and you will get this stuff, like we were saying before when I had the gloves on, sticky. Oh, you like how simple it is. Look, what you can do as well is you can actually put them, like making cookies, use this. So you're just going to, fold it all out. And then what you can do is use a cookie cutter to just cut them if you want, like hearts or bows or whatever, ships. Yeah, so you can definitely use a cookie cutter to cut them. If you push this into an aluminium container, it will stick. I guess you could maybe try and put some corn flour, line it with corn flour or something. Or if you put it in a container, you could even put some plastic wrap into a metal container first and then push it into that. That's probably another option as well. Or like I said, you can use this recipe and just get your ice cream scoop as well, because then it's just like your scoops. The only thing that I found is people seem to like the bar look better. And, honestly, the only reason is they see it on Lush. That's it. They see that and then that's what they want. They think that's how they're meant to look. But there's no right or wrong. I mean, Oh, the baking powder paper. So this is the one that I use, which is called Glad Bake. So I just use the Glad one, which is about $3 or $4. And you only need a little piece. And honestly, if you're making more than this, I'd just reuse the same piece. If I was making several batches of it, yeah, you could definitely. And like I said, if you want a pattern on it, you can get like a silicone, mat or something, just roll it on the mat. And then it would give like a pattern on the outside, whether it's like this, which is just like a little lace kind of pattern. Or you can have ones that are like tree stumps or anything. But I'd only use silicone because that way it won't stick. Plastic it would stick to. It's very sticky, so it will stick to things. But as I said, maybe you could use other things. A dough hook instead, yeah, or by hand. Well, that's what I was saying before. If I was to do this this particular one into a stand mixer, which usually I would, I just put it in there and I use the paddle. But the only reason that I'm not doing that today is so that I can show people that may not have a stand mixer and that need to do it by hand. Because it's definitely more of a pest to do it by hand. 100% it is. So, yeah, so if you do have something else, definitely use, like I said, I would use something else. I wouldn't just do it the way I've done it today, but it's just to show everyone. Obviously, I just think it's a bit more helpful, isn't it, if I can show you guys how to do it as well. And then try not to move them too much, because if you move them, they'll crack. Do I do on labels? Yeah, so with my labels, I think I've done a video already on how to do labels. I don't give out any information about like the legal side of labels because obviously I'm not a lawyer, so I'm actually not allowed legally to give out any information about how I should or somebody should be doing it. And I know that's kind of it's a bit tricky, isn't it? Because it's just one of those things that I wish I could give out more information, but I can't. But with labels, you can definitely go onto, your different websites, whatever country you're in as well, and find all that out. Even Google it. Google what to put in a label. But on one of my label videos I did actually explain what you need to write in the labels, the ingredients, how you need to write this is not food. You need to, so on the top of all of mine for this, it would say bubble bar. And then under it, it would say, you know, the ingredients or whatever the product is. And then with all of your warnings and stuff on the back, then you would say this is not a food product. Because certain countries are more stringent, like the UK is more stringent than Australia with writing all of those things. So do make sure that you're writing, or even if you're selling at a market, it doesn't matter. You still need to do that because inspectors come to markets, especially in Australia, they do. So I've had a few people say that they've been inspected as well. Oh, no worries, you're fine, you're fine. All right, well, I think that I've taken up enough of your time, 1 hour from everybody. So I will end the video, but like I said, hopefully this has helped. So get making some of these little gorgeous things, and I will see you on the next video. I do have a candle video coming up on Monday or Tuesday, I think, once I finish that one off. But anyway, I'll see you soon, and congratulations to the winners. Bye.